All right, we're going to look at problem 121. Problem 121 compares a American football field to a British football field or soccer field. So this is problem 121. Whoops. 121. Better. And so an American football field has a length of 100 yards. And a British football field, let's see, we'll make this LA for American and LB for British, 100 meters. And so we want to know which field is longer. Well, to figure out which field is longer, we need to do some comparison. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use meter as my comparison. And I'm going to also use yards as my comparison. I'm going to go both ways. And a little bit of that has to do with how the question asks other things later. But first, I'm going to take 100 yards and convert it to meters. Now, the question gives us our conversion factors. It says 1 yard equals 3 feet, so 3.00 feet over 1 yard. And then it also says 1 meter equals 3.281 feet. So 1 meter equals 3.281 feet. And so what I want to do here is I want to bring in my calculator. There we go. Clear out my numbers. And so I'm going to take 100 times 3 and divide by 3.281. And that equals 91.44 meters. So an American football field is 91.44 meters. And I'm going to assume that these are 3 sig figs. So I guess we could approximate this as 91.4 meters. And so 100 meters is bigger than 91. So a British football field is bigger than an American football field. And so that gets us for what the answer to part A is. Now, I do apologize that living in England, so when I say British football, I'm saying soccer. Right, so a soccer field is larger than a football field. And now they want to determine the difference in length between the two in meters. Well, so difference is, and I think this is actually asking for it as a delta. And that's going to be the absolute value of these two things subtracted from each other. And I'm going to immediately take the largest from the smallest, just so we get a positive number. Again, I'll get my calculator here. And we'll take 100 minus 91.44, which equals 8.56. And it's going to say express your answer in 2 sig figs. So 8.56, there's 2 significant, we round up. So 8.6 meters is the difference. 8.6 meters is the delta. And that gets us part B. Now part C asks us what the difference is in yards. So what we have to do is we have to convert a British soccer field, British football field, into yards. So we're going to have 100 meters over here. Well, let me change up the color here. Since I'm doing something different, let's make this a light blue. Pelham blue for Manchester City. And so I want 100 meters and I want to turn it into yards. So 3.281 feet over 1 meter, and 1 yard over 3 feet. So I have flipped my conversions. And so I'll get my calculator out again, which I think I accidentally shut. I'm really liking to shut this calculator on you guys. I want you to see my wonderful folders here. We'll get this out. There we go. So 100 times 3.281 divided by 3 equals 109.36. 109.36. So 109.36 repeating. So we'll make it 37 for right now. We're keeping extra sig figs so we can do some proper comparisons. And so what's the difference between these two in yards? So we will subtract. So this delta equals, again, LB minus LA. LB is still the larger, even though we're looking at yards now. And so we're looking at 109.37 minus 100. That leaves us with the 9.37 yards. It asks us for 2 sig figs, so 9.4 yards. So the difference is 9.4 yards between the two. Now we're going to use our math to do a little trick for part D. It says by what percentage the soccer field is longer than the American football field. And so we're going to do a percentage. Well, what's really, really nice about percentages is they're per 100, and 100 yards is what the American football field is. So we can actually say that the percent difference, PD, is the delta divided by the length we're looking to measure, which in this case is 100 yards. And if we want it in percent, we multiply this by 100%. Now what's nice about this being in 100 is these hundreds cancel. And if I replace the delta with the 9.4 yards, I'm left with 9.4%. And so these numbers are set up in such a way when we look for a percent difference, we just take we get that 9.4%. And so this is an example of using your setup, using the yards instead of the meters, just because the hundreds cancel. You get the same answer if you use the meters. You would just have to use the calculator a little bit more. So in this case, you kind of look at your numbers and see which numbers will be the easier. And that's some of the tricks and calculations here is trying to find the easier calculations. But so a British football field or a soccer field is 9.4% larger than the American football field.